Hey there, I'm Ben. Renpho Iris 1 review. So, I'm reviewing another dodgy Amazon product, the Renpho Sleep Mask. Will the heating coils go into overdrive and sear my face like an overcooked steak? Probably not. I guess we'll see. Yay. Also, I did just want to say right at the outset that there's some very alarming fine print that comes with this product. So I'll go into detail, but Jesus H. Christ on a bicycle, I would strongly recommend that you avoid buying anything from this company. Otherwise, let's start with fit, finish, and physicality. It feels cheap, especially the remote. I don't know what kind of plastic is being used here, but it has a uniquely low quality feel. I think it's that the plastic feels brittle, and the faux stainless steel look is not helping. I'm actually shocked and sort of impressed at how light this whole device is, given that it's got pumps, some kind of control board, Bluetooth, heating coils, a bunch of vibrators, as well as a battery. Also, the build quality on the visor isn't great. You can see some pretty obvious gaps and misalignment. Interface. I really hate the buttons on the front. Imagine flying a plane while blindfolded. Oh, and to be clear, there's no embossed identifiers on the buttons. It's just 3 smooth buttons with a little raised dot in the middle. If you can find the dot in the middle, you might be able to guess where the rest of the buttons are without accidentally pressing them first. It's kind of like putting a flashlight in the middle of a dark room filled with bear traps. The little dot next to the power button lets you know when it's fully charged by going from red to green. It also turns blue when it's running. That said, I can't find a way to check the battery level once it's paired. A lot of Bluetooth devices today have a tiny battery readout next to the headphone symbol on your iPhone. This doesn't do that. The blue power on charging light does not turn off while in use, and I cannot find a way to fix this. The remote is cheap, as discussed. It also will be hella easy to lose. This little silver suppository looks like it was designed for cracks and small spaces. Clearly, they learned from their mistakes because the next model of this device has tactile buttons on the mask. That said, having and or finding a remote in the dark while blindfolded is a very poor design, and it creates more unnecessary e-waste. Unfortunately, the remote is way more useful than the buttons they designed, so it's really just a choose your own adventure of terrible design choices. Comfort and massage. Just a little side note here, this device is obviously not good enough to sleep in. I don't think it was ever even designed for this, but they very boldly put sleep mask into the title of this Amazon listing, knowing that people would buy it and search for it based on that alone. So I'm going to say some harsh things about this as a sleep mask, because that is in fact how it was marketed. The first night I wore this, I had to take it off, and I want to really emphasize this bit. I could not find my regular sleep mask, so rather than keep this on, I decided to go without. I pretty much always either sleep in a very dark room or wear an eye mask, so to hit a point where living with a worse sleep was better than wearing the mask says a lot about its usability long term. And it's not that it's wildly uncomfortable, it's that it presses on my brow bones over time, and that gets uncomfortable. But for short stints, it's fine, and they really shouldn't be advertising it as something that you can sleep with. Obviously, your face shape may come into play here, as mine obviously has, but I would be shocked if anyone wanted to wear this long term. What's even worse is that this wouldn't even be a problem if you could just keep the massage sacks inflated, but they have not allowed for this. But I'm getting ahead of myself. One more design flaw. So I expect to use this almost exclusively at night. Turns out that the status light on this thing is bright enough to illuminate a circle on my wall. I don't know what they were thinking when they did this, but maybe it's like a shallow dig, you know? If you bought this, you must be single. Which of course brings us to the massage. This device will only do 15-minute sessions. I thought that the warmth would be awful, but honestly, it's kind of nice. I know this sounds terrible, but like a dry, warm washcloth on your face, it would be better if it was moist, but you know, live your life, I guess. I would also say that after my third interview for this job that I really wanted, which I nailed by the way, I used it afterwards to de-stress, and it was nice. Oh yes, and there is a vibration motor in this, but it is so weak that you can barely feel it. Next, battery. Okay, so I tested this until it died, and it did 6 full 15-minute sessions. And to be clear, that's with a Bluetooth connection, heat, music, and medium massage pressure enabled. She died around the middle of the 7th session. This device takes about 3 hours to charge. Music and sound quality, oh boy. Imagine you have a homie in bed next to you, and they're listening to a music video on their phone at low volume. That's what this sounds like. Also, The soothing music plays whenever you enable it. Like you just can't turn that off. Or I should say you can turn it off once it started playing, but you can never just like permanently disable it. And because it's the same track over and over and over again, it's like, why are we doing this? Oh God. I would, however, say that the gentle piano and birds chirping sound effect is just varied and repetitive enough to maybe lull one to sleep. That said, the music is just a 100-second loop, so you'll get to hear that song 9 times in the course of your massage. Fuck, honestly, reading this review back, I'm realizing it's so much worse than I thought it was initially. Like, good God. Seeing it here in black and white, you don't need to watch anymore. You could just leave. It's okay. I'll take the hit. I would also say that somehow hearing the same song 9 times was not as irritating as I thought it would be. To say that the sound is mediocre would be being pretty generous. I could, however, see this being nice if you're doing, say, like a guided meditation. That is assuming, of course, that your meditation is no longer than 15 minutes. Because again, the Bluetooth audio just stops when the massage does, regardless of what you do. I did, in fact, ask Renpho if there was any way to make the session longer or to keep the Bluetooth enabled at the end of the massage, but I have not heard back from them, and I don't think I ever will. And to be clear, there's 0 sound isolation. So if you have a partner or partners and you want to use it in bed next to them, you'd probably just be better off using headphones. On that note, I do kind of like the way your ears are left open so you can hear what's around. I'm wondering if maybe they foresaw people never wanting to use the shitty speakers, because it is really easy to turn off the Bluetooth, which is nice, but that is the smallest consolation prize. Okay, warranty. The best they could do is a 1-year warranty, which, if you boil down the fine print, basically just says, we won't ship it broken. We'll probably replace it if we do ship it broken. But also, the warranty doesn't cover software bugs or battery degradation. And I want to be clear, it's worded quite generously, so that if they threw a shit battery into this and it dies in like a month, there will be no going back for you. You will not get your money back. But Ben, you're just assuming the worst about this company. Yes, I am. We haven't gotten to the fine print yet. Ethics and environment. Okay, so 5 points for a sort of mediocre product, minus several thousand for lack of ethics here. Renpho takes no responsibility for its climate impacts or the nature of the products it creates. There is no product recycling and no circular supply chain. Product support is limited. You just heard what the warranty is like. And it's been over a week since I shouted at the sky in an effort to talk to tech support. There is also no word on whether or not their factories are unionized or if their workers have humane working conditions or any kind of collective bargaining power. Really nothing relating to manufacturing whatsoever. On the labor front, these people could be worse than Apple. We would never know. In my experience, where there is silence, there is violence. And before someone in the comments tells me that that's just the way the industry is, I would heartily say, fuck you. And fuck an industry that takes no pride in treating its workers well and fairly. Obviously, not everyone has the financial privilege to avoid companies like this, but if you can, I would recommend that you do. Okay, the much anticipated fine print. Here we go. There's some really scummy shit here. I thought it was worth mentioning. Renpho's warranty page basically contains a clause which says, if you use any form of our website, you've waived the right to class action arbitration. So let's imagine that their product explodes on the faces of, 2,000 people. Let's also say that those people used the Renphos website to buy the product. Renpho's next legal logical step would be to claim that because you've used the website, you've agreed not to get together with all of the people who got hurt and sue them. Or put another way, they'll sick their army of lawyers on you one by one instead of having to deal with a large and powerful law firm negotiating on behalf of thousands of people. I really hope that this clause would not hold up in court, but the fact that they're even trying for this is fucking despicable. Obviously, this is all hypothetical, but holy shit, it makes me hate this company for so much more than just their products. Oh, and while we're at it, I thought it was worth pointing out that Joy-Com, the legal name of this company, is currently in court for patent infringement and breach of contract. And to be clear, that's just in the US, and that's what I was able to find after a very limited amount of research. Summary, this product might actually put you to sleep. That said, it did never do that for me. Came close once. Honestly, something I've been emphasizing a lot lately in my videos is corporate accountability. A lot of the, shall we say, more affordable Amazon brands have zero social media presence and no websites. Renphos, at the very least, has a website, but as I've noted, they take little to no ethical responsibility for any of their operations. The product is extremely mediocre, and the scummy business practices they pursue really make me wonder what other shitty shortcuts or money-saving efforts may have been made in the production of their products. Again, if you have the financial privilege, please stay away from these scumbags. If not, I wish you the best of luck in court. Okay, thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. I'm BRB, this is BRBTG, and as always, I'll be right back.